Hey everybody, today we're going to walk through installing Big Bang on an Azure Stack Edge device. I have a quick PowerPoint to walk through to kind of talk about some of the dependencies and some of the actual reference links, but then after that we'll jump right in and start installing. Alright, so what we're going to do in this is we're going to first go into the Azure Stack Edge portal. After you provision your Azure Stack Edge device, you will have access to a portal where you can deploy different services to resource providers and so forth. And in that, you're going to have the ability to create an AKS cluster. So we're going to walk through that process and some of the settings as far as the scale set and so forth, and the size of the VMs and all that good stuff. Then we're going to actually go over to Microsoft Azure Government and create a virtual machine that will install the dependencies on to deploy Big Bang into your AKS cluster. And so we're going to start with a blank virtual machine and walk from scratch so you guys can follow along and build this thing from scratch. Then after all those dependencies are installed, we're going to jump in and actually deploy Big Bang from Repo 1 into that cluster. So there's a couple dependencies that we're going to install. First is SOPs. So SOPs is a core piece of GitOps in the sense that we have secrets that we actually put into the GitHub repository. So once again, in GitOps, we make all our changes in a GitHub repository, a Git repository, and the AKS cluster reconciles against that cluster. So a lot of times we might have secrets and files and things that we want encrypted. So we use SOPs to do that. So that's the first thing we install is SOPs. Of course, Azure CLI, kube control, Git. We need Git obviously to do the push and pull requests and so forth to do Git changes. Flux is out there, and that's going to do our reconciliations for the GitOps environment, and of course Helm. Most of these releases that we're going to do today are all with Helm chart releases. You're going to need a GitHub account and a personal access token. And so once you create your accounts, go out there, and there's a lot of documents on how to do this, but you're going to need a personal access token to actually have GitOps set up correctly. And then of course Iron Bank, all of our images for Big Bang are pulled from Iron Bank, so it's a hardened container image. Those are all out in Iron Bank, so you need a personal access token for that as well. A quick word about Flux. Once you deploy the Big Bang YAML, it actually uses Customize to build out the correct templating, and then it's going to start reconciling the differences in the environments. And so it has to pull down Istio, and it pulls down several different things. It takes a while to do this. Everything is deployed with a Helm release, so once we run this script, it's going to take a while to reconciliate. So it takes a while, let's put it that way. And then of course, the source of our work today is in Repo 1. This environment actually is designed to work on any Kubernetes cluster, and for today we're using Azure Kubernetes Service on an Azure platform. And this will be in an Azure Stack Edge device for this example today. Here is a list of the things we will install and how to install them, like SOPs, CLI, everything, Azure CLI, the things that we talked about earlier. This is a script in this PowerPoint. You can just run these things and it'll install the environment for you. We'll do this in the presentation today. And then if you want to request access to this PowerPoint, just email federaldsopswat@microsoft.com. So that is it for PowerPoint. Let's jump in and start deploying.